Recording in progress.
Commission work session for November 1st. Dr. Weeks didn't mean to surprise you, but would you pray for us? Sure.
Father, we thank you for the evening you've given to us. We thank you for the blessings of the day. We thank you for allowing us to live in this county, allowing us to be a part of the neighbors and the businesses and the industry that's here. Father, we thank you for positions of leadership, and we now ask that you grant your wisdom to the commission as they review items, as they make decisions, as they do the things that they believe that are in the best of this community. Father, we just ask blessing those that are sick, those that are hurting, those that need your attention. We just ask that you'll reach out to them and share your love with them. Thankful for the gifts that you give us each and every day. These things we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Everyone stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Randy Simpkins,
Here.
Jeff Eby, Dwight McElwain, Stacy Beatty,
Here.
James Dawson,
Here.
Becky Spicer, Carl Buckner, Clayton Ellis,
Here.
Mike Petty,
Here.
Danny Williams, Linda Hayes, Johnny Reed.
We do have a quorum. Commissioner Eby's under the weather. Commissioner Buckner's in the Texas Panhandle. So if y'all are looking for him. Also, I want to let you know too, as y'all notice, Ms. Greer's not here tonight. She's with her husband Ronnie. He had to be checked in the hospital, so keep them in your thoughts and prayers. First order of business is approval of the minutes October 4, 2021 work session. Do I have a motion? Motion by Commissioner Hayes, second by Commissioner Petty. Any discussions or changes? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next item, business committee reports. Any committees to report? Hearing none. Next order of business is appointments. On Board of Zoning Appeals, Mr. Aaron Robertson's term is up on that, and I'd like to bring his name back for another 5-year term. I'll open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner McElwain, second by Commissioner Ellis. Move this on to regular session on the 15th. Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. The second item under appointments is Planning Commission. We received a resignation from Mr. Jeff Spencer from that board, and so we would like to bring forward the name of Darren Green to fill that vacancy, to fill out Mr. Spencer's term. Have a motion by Commissioner McElwain. Have a second. Second by Commissioner Petty. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. We know when we were doing the library board, I need to add this, as I told y'all, we filled library board spots last time, but we found out in the meantime, one of the people did not want to be reappointed, Miss Teresa Fuzzle, she didn't want to be reappointed. So what we'd like to do on this, we had the other three fill in for the full terms. I'd like to bring a name now to fill in, to finish that unexpired term for Miss Megan Frazier. She's the one who left early on that. So the name I'd like to bring forward is Lynette Edmondson. I think a lot of y'all know Lynette. She was a longtime employee of the library. Her and her husband Terry have raised a lot of kids. They stopped when they had a full baseball team. They have 9 children. Thank God they weren't doing a football team with defense and offense both. That would have been a real pleasure. But Lynette's an avid reader, well-educated, and I'd like to bring her name forward to have her filled in on that on the library board. Open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Reed, second by Commissioner Hayes. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Under new business, quarterly financial reports, all school funds. Dr. Weeks.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. It's a privilege to be here tonight to share our quarterly financials with you. Ms. Greer received those, and I hope she has forwarded those on to you. I assume that has happened. Everybody has those. Great. In terms of revenues, if you look down at the bottom of our first page, we are at 19% of our revenues that we've received to date. That was a little shy of where we expect to be, but of course, property tax has not come in yet. I noticed that I received my bills at home today, so maybe we'll start getting some property tax in. But that is 19% of our total revenues have come in for the through the first quarter. And then back to the expenditure page, I think we had received or had expended right at 24% of our budget in terms of revenues or expenditures. I'm sorry. And so we are in very good shape in terms of both of those. The items that I've shared with our board that we're watching closely, as you can imagine, gas and diesel fuel. And both of those have surprised us quite a bit this year and where they are. So we will probably be bringing some budget amendments to make sure that we are not in any kind of situations in terms of our fuels and our transportation department. Those are the two places that are only of concern to us at this point in time. Be glad to answer any questions that Commissioner you might have, Mayor.
Question, Dr. Weeks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're talking about the transportation, how are we as far as bus drivers?
We are we're making it. We can always hire new bus drivers, and again, I think we say that just about any time that we're out in public, we could hire 7 or 8 if we could get them at any point in time. We're using an awful lot of folks to drive daily that are costing us some overtime to fill some places that we don't have drivers. We have 5 mechanics. At least 4 of those mechanics drive a route just about every day, most every day. And even some of our office staff are doing that as well. So always in need. Just like substitute teachers, and we're certainly in need for teaching staff as well. Thank you.
Any other questions, Dr. Weeks? Thank you, Dr. Weeks.
Thank you.
I'll open the floor for a motion and a second to move this on to regular session. Motion by Commissioner Reed. Look for a second. Second by Commissioner Williams. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next item of business, quarterly financial reports, all funds except schools. Mr. Don Hall.
I have gone over the funds that we're responsible for myself, and this being the first quarter of the fiscal year for fiscal year 22. All the funds look good in that's under our responsibility. I've looked over them all pretty close. The only thing you might run across and looking at them at this time of the year, early in the year, you wouldn't expect to see anything that's out of shape or very bad, but if you do look through there, you might see that insurances, we're responsible for paying those in July of every year, and the property and casualty stuff's due in full. Workers' comp, we're able to pay it by quarter, so it's always okay. But property and casualty is due first of the year, so it kind of, and I think the schools even the same way. They have to pay early too, so that might be something you see if you look through them. And on the revenue side, in the debt service fund, adequate facilities tax, it's looking pretty good still. I talked to David tonight, and he said it's still holding up. Maybe down a little bit from prior years, which has been extraordinary, but it still looks good right now. And that's the only things I really picked up on myself looking through there.
Any question, Mr. Hall?
I was noticing that you was talking about the insurance.
Yeah,
That looks way out of whack.
yeah.
$7,000 budget, $580,000 spent.
What page are you looking at? That sounds kind of funny there. I didn't pick up on that one.
It's like 58,600.
58,600. Oh, okay. That's where we charge that out right there early in the year. That 7,000 is where we pay the airport's portion, and then we'll bill them back at the end of the year or sometime during the year. But the rest of that right there, being the overage part, we'll take and journal entry that. I'll get a spreadsheet from Mr. Kyle Ruff, that's our insurance agent. He'll send me a spreadsheet, and we'll journal entry that out into the departments that the rest of that money goes to. We pay that in that code on the front end of the year. Yeah, that kind of make your eyeballs pop out, won't it? Yeah. But that, we'll take and move that to the correct, proper department that it's charged out to, yeah. Yeah. But the $7,000 we'll bill out to the airport.
Any other questions for Mr. Hall?
Good question, though.
Somebody actually reads them, don't
Yeah.
they? Well, to move this on a regular session, I open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Simpkins, second by Commissioner McElwain. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Thanks.
Next item of business is holiday schedule for 2022. I don't recall typically we do a holiday schedule on this, but want to go on and get it done here for November. The first holiday of 2022 is actually, why don't y'all share? Yes. No. I was on a roll, but I can start over again. Typically, we do, I think we may do this in December, but the first holiday of 2022 is actually December 31st. That will be for New Year's Day, and it's our typical holidays on this that we do every year, at least as far back as I know. Any questions? Open the floor for a motion, move this on to regular session. Motion by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Spicer. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Items number 4, 5, and 6. This is where we're going to talk about the American Rescue Plan money. I'd like to walk over each of these. We'll need to look at these separately. As you know, that we've been assigned $10.4 million from the federal government for American Rescue Plan money. You voted last month to spend $36,000 out of that to give to the employees of the health department, and that was dispersed to them last Friday. And they told me, or most of them told me, to tell y'all thank you and appreciate y'all thinking of them on this. As you recall, we did that early on for the our first responders inside county, but now this takes care of everybody that they've all received $1,000 on this, the people that never left their post. In this, the first thing we can purchase, and we've been walking through this, there's really not a presentation for this one, but it's to purchase in bulk PPE, that's your personal protective equipment. Outside in this money, Mr. Bear is going to put together a list, and he has a small list or a cursory list, but we're going to get him detailed on this. He's estimated we need to get between $350,000 and $375,000 to make sure we have enough of this on hand in case another emergency comes up. Again, that money is not coming out of the county government's budget. It's coming out of Joe Biden's budget, who's gracious enough to send it down. We won't talk about inflation and other things that come with it. But what we will talk about is that this was important. We are confident that it's covered by the American Rescue Plan Act, and this is money we can spend. So are there any questions for me or Mr. Bear on this? What I'm looking for is a motion to send us on a regular session. What we will do before the next meeting, we'll have a defined list of what we're looking to purchase on this so you have a better understanding, but it's all that PPE kind of stuff that I think everybody's familiar with, masks, gloves, and all that other stuff associated with it. So right now I'm open the floor for a motion to move this on to regular session. Motion by Commissioner Hayes, to have a second. Second by Commissioner Simpkins. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor vote by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Did we have a quorum on that? It's okay. It's Joe Biden's money. Just join in. Let's try that again. Well.
Is that part of the $450,000 that certain people are gonna get?
Yeah. See, I egged you on till it got all political up in here all of a sudden, didn't it? Well, we'll go out of session after the meeting. We'll get a piñata and beat it to death on that. The next item of business, the next one we have on here, the one we've been made aware of, is that if you're building space to move people out and away from each other, that qualifies. Even though we had the plan in place about the expansion out here, and we have the money in place for that, we can substitute this American Rescue Plan money to pay for the renovation up here, and that money that we have set aside will then go back into fund balance. It'll save us around $1.6 to $1.7 million. Yeah. What that was is when we did the $25 million borrowing to build the Justice Center, we were hoping, and which we did, there was enough savings in there to do the renovations building upstairs, which was approved in that resolution. We borrowed the money, but now we have another source of funds. We want to put that money back in our debt service fund balance. So basically, we're going to save the county about $1.7 million. Any questions on that one? I'll open the floor to motion and move this on to regular session. Motion by Commissioner Simpkins. Have a second. Second by Commissioner Spicer. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of vote stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Number 6 is another one that from American Rescue Plan money. Get a little ahead of myself on that one. Mr. Fisher's sweating because it's his PowerPoint. He thinks I've lost it. I just misplaced it for a second. No, that's not it. I got it out of email you sent me. Oops. Here. Hope nobody's sending an ugly email of mine y'all can read. Thought I had this pulled up a minute ago. Where's your PowerPoint, Ms. Fisher? Did you see it?
I don't know what you do,
You know, I just did his review. He's a little sassy right now.
I have no clue very well.
Did you email it to me?
Isn't that it right there?
I don't know. Hell, I can't say. I'm sorry, I can't say it.
In the attachment, in that email that
Oh,
you
it's the
got.
very first one.
Right there.
Yeah, okay. There's the PowerPoint. Oh, you did. You addressed it me and a star. There we go. This is going to go in detail. I'll give you a high-level view on this. We've been working with the Airport Authority on several projects over time. This one's been going for a couple of years. As y'all know, Stacy Beatty is your representative on the Airport Authority, and he's doing a good job on that. The airport has a double-wide mobile home that they own that sits on their property. And what they've offered us over time, but we did not have the money, was to use that mobile home to where we could station people there if necessary, but we would have to build a garage, a building to hold ambulances and fire equipment to put out there. We didn't feel like that was an idea to bring before you until we got this American Rescue Plan money. So as you see here, the proposed fire station project, you can see it's meetings with Chairman Fuson. Craig Fuson's the chairman on there, and it's to partner with Dickson County with their 99-year lease with $1 lease with options. They've offered the property in the building, but the property is owned by the Airport Authority and it's approximately 1,800 square foot double-wide mobile home. That way we can put firemen, firefighters, and ambulance service people out there if ever necessary. We don't have the funds to staff that at this time. That's not our intention, but our intention is to take that property and use it and build a fire station on there. As it has in here, it shows that we can store fire equipment in a steel building. It's going to be insulated with garage and bay spaces. It'll have power and drive-through bays with roll-up doors. And the staff and crew, we have one, will end up utilizing that as office space in the area out there. So that's their gift to us on this. Right now, we can leave out there a pumper and a quick attack medical unit. That way, we have volunteers and ambulance service people live in that area. They can use that, get that equipment without having to come back to Cowan Road ambulance service location to do that. So the people using that fire coverage through our fire department, emergency medical services, the ambulance service, and of course the sheriff's department can use that as a satellite office if they need that. There's a picture of it right there, the mobile home. As you can see on the left-hand side there, it's the end of the runway. It's actually got a little name on it up there. I can't see that on mine, it's so small. And that will have access to the runway, which will help the whenever the rating that the Airport Authority gets, there's a fire equipment on hand that will help enhance what they are and what they can advertise themselves to be. So that's it. We are looking to get out, if y'all approve this, to get the bid spec done here in January, start construction in 22 and complete a move-in on this. Estimating the cost for the 60 by 60 building completed at $295,000. Again, this is not money I felt like we had in our budget I could bring to you, but now that we've analyzed this money, we're confident that we can use this and it'd be American Rescue Plan money to pay for this item. So at this point, I'll be glad to answer any questions, or Mr. Fisher's here to answer any technical questions. It's kind of fun spending somebody else's money, but I know it's our money, and we'll talk about that after the fact. So, open the floor to motion and move this to regular session. Motion by Beatty, second by Spicer. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote. How about all in favor that want to vote for this, state aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay, I have a little issue here. Item number 7 is a housekeeping issue, transfer of funds from Highway Department. As you recall, we took out $1.5 million loan to pave roads, and part of that was to improve our road signage in the county, $100,000. But I did not give directions. It's my fault to the accounting staff, and it was all put into one pot. So we need to amend the budget to move $100,000 of that out of paving into the road sign improvement on that for the Highway Department. So it's housekeeping measure on that. Any questions? Open floor for a motion. Motion by McElwain, second by Hayes. Any other questions? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next one, we've been waiting to do for 10 years. Get that go away. As you know, every 10 years, federal, U.S. Constitution, federal state law require reapportionment of the districts. What we do on this is this year, it was more complicated than it was 10 years ago, frankly, because of the growth we had in the 10th, 6th, and 12th districts. They have grown greatly. Most of the population growth is there. So with those had to tighten up geographically a good bit. The perfect district is right at 4,500 individuals on this as you take. There's a court formula where your highest cannot be more than 5% high or bottom 5% low for a 10% deal. So we can have a class on this one night, but I don't think y'all will hear it. But the short answer to this, kind of like when I do a budget every year, I bring you a legal balanced budget. So every 10 years, been around that long, this is a legal balanced reapportionment plan. Once we reapportion the people, then it's redistricted, so they happen simultaneously. So I'm going to pass out to y'all each one of your districts on this and let you this is the work that Wesley Robertson and myself did. They had a high-priced computer program that we use theirs as opposed to paying $5,000 on this. But we'll walk through each one of these. I will email these to you also so you can look at them. Yes, you should. I'm sorry. Take your number. I'm sorry. My apologies. You got one? I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. Microphone.
Is Dickson County still going to be stuck with Nashville and Davidson County?
We don't know that yet, but I don't think we will. No. The growth in, what you have here before you is your county legislative district, so we'll talk about that.
I just wondered if you knew anything.
No, but the growth in Nashville has probably taken us out of the 5th congressional district. So because with the growth there, so it leaves, it'll probably put us into the district that's in Montgomery County, Mark Green.
That'd be fine, either that one or the one from Williamson County.
I think that's highly
something where our
possible.
vote will count.
we'll walk through each of these. You're going to see on the lower right-hand side, a comprehensive map of all the districts. Again, the 12th had to lose people. The 6th had to lose people, and so did the 10th. The 11th, oddly enough, had to gain people, the more than anybody else. But you're going to get some geographical issues. But as you can see, I can't. Y'all can't see anything. Is that the wrong PowerPoint? I'm so proud of myself just a minute ago. What I'm looking at, it's on my screen here. I can see it just fine. Who wants to jump in here again? You know, one day we're gonna have enough money in this county, I can just turn this stuff on and I have to figure it out myself. Because I've never seen Governor Lee struggle with the computer for 15 minutes like I have, but he makes a little more than I do. All this being said, you can walk through those maps. In the 1st district, it's going to be very much the same. In the 3rd district, Mr. Ellis is there. It's fully contained inside the city of Dickson.
But you cut a lot out of my district here.
Yes. Yes, we did. Because the goal is to get you as close to 4,500. Mr. Petty's district had to come across the highway to pick up population. The 10th district had to, I'll let him explain it. The 10th district, yours is pretty much the same. You had to lose a little bit, I think, in the Wesley Heights area. We put that into the 11th district to give population there. On Ms. Hayes' district, you picked up some, but I don't really know. You're surrounded by Burns, Dickson, and some non-Dickson County. Commissioner Reed, I believe yours came down a little bit. The area down below the railroad track off Glendale and that area had to be moved into the 5th district to get people out of yours and balance it out with Commissioner Dawson's. And I'll go right to Commissioner Dawson. I think that's your only change really, is that you cross the railroad track near the Cheatham County line and Highway 70. The 6th district and the 7th had some big changes because we had to get people out of the 6th to get it to its perfect weight. So Highway 46 is no longer the dividing line between the 6th and 7th. Some of the 7th crosses more into the east side of that highway. Commissioner Beatty's is pretty much the same. I know there may be some discussions you want to have with some other commissioners on that. And on yours, Commissioner McElwain, I think you lost just a tab, but picked up some. But take a look at those. We have to have these passed by December. So as I tell everyone every year on a budget, that's the one I drew. Now you can accept it, deny it, or make your own on that. But that one's legal. It'll pass any court appeals. We didn't break any minority groups up on that. So it's a very well contained commission district.
The one I'm looking at, it doesn't show the original line to start with.
No, on this one, this is the other map. We can get you one that shows that.
It would be a lot better if somebody asked, you know, I mean, they could just say, hey, where's it going? I can show them the map.
But what we want to make sure is, I mean, we can give you that map. That's not a problem, but we want to make sure before we go back and have one produced that y'all are comfortable where your lines are. So you can talk to your neighbor, but remember, it's squeezing a balloon. If you take somebody in on one side, you got to let somebody out on the other side and vice versa, because we've got to keep it near that legal proportion. So if we're in a position, if y'all are happy with it, we can pass it on November 15th, but we do have to pass it by the, what is going to be the 18th or 20th of December. It cannot go any later than that. So we either got 15 days or 45 days for y'all to come up with that. But be glad to talk about anything you have in particular right now, but feel free to take a look at them.
What did you say, Glendale going to?
It will go into the 5th district. Because if you go all the way on Highway 70 to the railroad track, it looks like we had to dip back in there. The other issue, we could have dipped straight into White Bluff, but you're really close to your district line on Park Street. So you've got about 2 blocks above you that are in the 12th, but once you get any further up, I think to Highway 70, then it's in the 5th district where Commissioner Dawson's is. The one that's not here, Commissioner Eby's, his had to move because it's so population small. He's well into the edge of the city. Dickson basically surrounds the 8th district and the 7th district. Like I said, Commissioner Buckner had to cross Highway 46 to pick up some of the 6th district area that would have voted at Porter or Burns. to make his equal on that.
So you would email them so we can follow them up?
Absolutely. But I don't want to rush through this because regardless if y'all are here or not, this is going to be good for the next 10 years. So the goal was to keep communities together as much as we could. So one dividing line that we were really worked on was Jones Creek, where the Ridge and Clay Lick don't overlap, where one has to go to the other on that. We did a lot of stuff between 6 and 12 with Interstate 40 being the dividing line as much as we could on that. So trying to just give some clear definition on where each line is. Like I said, on Commissioner Ellis's, is fully contained inside the city of Dickson. And Ms. Hayes, yours is small geographically now, but you got a lot of people in there, about 4,500. Another thing, it's up to the election commission to actually set precincts where you vote, but we tried to take some of that into mind. In Commission District 6, where Ms. Spicer's is, we drew a line where the precinct that votes at Burns is above the interstate, and a line below Interstate 40 will vote down at Porter and ABF Community. The one we always have issues with the 3rd district up there, because you got Van Leer and then you come around to Calvary Baptist Church to vote, and it's just, you can't, it's close by, but you can't get there from here. You got to go somewhere else. So we keep that in mind. Now it's going to be up to the election commission to completely, they can move precincts or do whatever they want to do. That's the authority they have. We just have to draw districts. So on that.
Where did you say that Stacy's went over in toward the clinic? Or, I mean, the way we're looking at it is still Jones Creek's dividing line,
Yeah. So his does not cross.
so it didn't cross?
No.
Okay, well, that's, yeah, that's the way it was.
Well, you know, when we got here, did the one 10 years ago, we had that finger come down Petty Road into Clay Lick that went all the way down. It was in the 4th district, but that had them voting at Jackson Chapel. But there was enough, it maintained enough growth up there that it is, the 4th stay where it is. In the 5th, you had to take on a little bit just to take things off Commissioner Reed in the 12th.
Tell you something else too, that I was thinking about sitting there, when you talking about that, station out there, I like to look, electors to look at all these districts and everything, and figure out exactly what we've been, put fire departments or volunteer fire department, whatever, and each one of these, or 2 of them in each district, sort of separate them as far as by population. And are we doing that now, or are we just putting them in wherever?
Okay, we're going to stay on the subject, and I'll come back to that. Now, I have a motion from Commissioner Williams to move this on to regular session. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Simpkins, Williams-Simpkins. Any more discussion on these maps? Yes.
Got the old subdivision split in half, that's gonna be real confusing.
Yes.
Although people, when you said they can change the vote precincts, they're not gonna wanna go to Tennessee City to vote.
The issue we have is where the population is, and so we had to make it as equal as possible. That's why Mr. Petty's came across the interstate and picked up the very edge of the city of Dickson. So, again, we're a little bit of a slave to geography. We had to put 4,500 people in the southwest corner of the county.
But Barbecue Road used to be the dividing line basically down there, and this goes way down by Roxy Theater.
That's true. It's because of the growth in the districts. They break these up in census tracts. There's little blocks that Census Bureau gives, and there's numbers in there. It tells you how many people live in that. So we can move one census tract at a time. And so I can walk you back through it, but I can assure you I did it right and it's legal. So, but you're always welcome to come and change it, because it doesn't. My line's pretty clear. It's the Dickson County line. So any way you want to divide y'all's up, it's fine with me.
4 years ago, or was it between 214 and 216, somebody came in and moved part of them out of the 8th district, and nobody never did tell me how that happened.
It wasn't, this body didn't do it, so it would have had to have been the election commission or the state legislature. You know, I'm having a little deja vu, because 10 years ago we had the same discussion with the commissioner that represented the 2nd district at that time, which was Tennessee City, and he wasn't pleased with it, but showed him lines that we moved and made him the center of the university to move 9 of the other 12 commissioners out of their district. So I can assure you the community's put together well, but now it belongs to this body. If you'd like to make any changes, I can have the CTAS person here next Monday night, and they'll put it up on the big map and let you go to town like we did for a week.
You know what, I don't think it matters really a lot to very many people. I mean, you know, just to say that where the line is or whatever, what district you're in, I don't think so. I think it's no big deal.
Have I got a motion, a second?
Is your population, all of us are supposed to represent the same amount of people, and I can see where Clayton's coming from, I'm sure, if you're used to voting in one spot and moving to another. But, if that's where your population growth is, I mean, there's nothing this body can change about that. You would have to look to another spot, you would have to move, it's gonna have to move. That's the problem.
I gave this area down here and then split that subdivision.
I know exactly where you're talking about, put effort into it, because you also know there's a little pillar that goes through there down to Music Ridge Road on Eno, and that Music Ridge is now in the 9th district, but that's the way the census tracts are drawn. That's the way the Federal Census Bureau did it. So you have a little dangling part in the 9th that runs down all by itself, and that's still a census tract, because Music Ridge Road is an incomplete road that should or could run all the way up to whatever that is, Few Lane in that neighborhood up there. So as you can tell, I've been up and down every road in the county in my head.
Where is your voting precinct?
Voted to Senior Citizens Center.
Although this one's a lot more easy to do. When I was an intern in the state legislature in 1981, we had maps and magic markers and ad machine tape that would run across this room. That's old school, baby, old school. So, but it's kind of like a video game. But if you shoot this monster coming this direction, the other one eats you. So that's kind of what this map does. So, but you can always start over. Did I get a motion second on this? I do. Any other questions, discussion? This is vote to move it on regular session. All in favor, vote stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next item, I will go back to yours, Commissioner Dawson. We're constantly reviewing our calls on that through Mr. Fisher, the Ambulance Service 911. So we've done a lot for fire, emergency services county. We just brought something up to do another one. So I know sometimes it may not appear that we're working hard on it, but he's working hard on it, I'm working hard on it, we think about it all the time. I think we've proven that with the additional money we gave volunteer fire last year. I think we proved it last month whenever we approved to buy about $1.75 million for fire trucks. So all that being said, I appreciate your input and opinion, but at the same time, this is something we do every day. And so I can assure you that man's working on it because he brings me something almost every day to talk about. But we'll be glad to, if you'd like to meet Mr. Fisher, he'd love to hear your input on this.
Well, let me tell you something. Hey, if there's anybody over in this courthouse that appreciates what you've done and what we've done for the county, the volunteers, it's me. Because I've been vocal for it for a long, long time.
I appreciate that.
And also if you look at the whole, where the people are. I mean, we redistricting where the population is, and you want you want your far deals close to the most people. So that's where I was coming from.
I understand. Thank you. I appreciate your input.
Thank you.
Under other business, this is the assignments committees right here. They don't have anybody's number on them in particular, so I'm just go crazy with those. The only thing that's changed on committee assignments is the 4 people that were on budget committee left, and then they go back to budget. What do we call that, budget advisory? Yeah. No. And then so the 4 new members on that, I know that in a normal time, we're back to the committee from 3 years ago, but in those places also Mr. Petty, who would be here where Mr. Shepard and Mr. Williams, where Commissioner Reed were, along with the other new 2. So we're on that same 3-year rotation on that. So enjoy those committees. We'll be meeting budget committee not long from now. Any other business? Cool. Next is announcements. Commissioner Simpkins, you take care of the first announcement?
Tomorrow night, we will be electing our county extension officer, or person, not officer, agent, I think is the right word on that. That's been a pretty big thing. We've been without an extension leader for most of the summer, and this has been a pretty tough year on most farmers this year, and we're anxious to get somebody in this as a permanent position. And if any of the commissioners would like to come to that tomorrow night at 5 o'clock, also you too, Mr. Mayor, we'd welcome you to come. We want to try to get this done tomorrow night and get it behind us. Thank you.
Thank you. What time is that again? 5 o'clock. And it's in the new county government building? All right, very good. Another announcement here is that before we meet again, Mr. Ellis, happy birthday. You've caught up with me again for a year, for 2 months. I'll pass you again. And then Mr. Hall, who sporadically comes, he'll be really old on November 19th. We don't know if we'll always see him or not. I feel like he's done his duty here today, so we probably won't see him for a while. Any other announcements? There's a parade in White Bluff on the second Saturday of the 11th, so we'll see you before then. I think you've got a lot of different communities involved in that this time.
We do. We got Fort Charlotte, White Bluff, Burns, and Van Lair.
Cool. That's going to be a big one.
Theme is heroes named Rankin Hero.
Cool. Nobody else? Nothing on Porter Community? Nothing? Clay Lake? Nobody? I'm sorry. Okay. Sound like there's a story there. No.
But we're gonna have planning a big barbecue in the spring.
Cool. All right. There's no other announcements. The final announcement will be the next work session meeting will be on December 6, 2021 at 7 p.m. in the Buford L. Booty Reed Jr. County Commission Chamber, Dickson County Administration Building, 4 Court Square, Charlotte, Tennessee.
Recording
All right,
stopped.
Thank you. I should have something.